For you see, we need to understand that He obtained eternal redemption in His one sacrifice upon the cross. And if He truly provided for the forgiveness of sins, not the hypothetical forgiveness of sins, but in reality the forgiveness of sins, by bearing the sins of His people in His body, then what's the only possible result? Well, here's a question I ask all the time of those who posit a universal redemption, that Christ substitutionarily atoned for the sins of every single human being. That's universal redemption. That it was the intention of Christ to redeem every single human being, and that the Father placed upon the Son the sins of every single human being. That's taught all the time. Very popular. You might believe that, but if you do, here's some questions for you. Let's create a fellow by the name of Sam Smith, okay? Sam Smith lives here in Missouri. I mean, that sounds like a good Missouri name, doesn't it? Sam Smith lives in Missouri, and the universal redemptionist view is that 2,000 years ago, Christ purposefully took upon Himself and His body on the tree the sins, all the sins of Sam Smith. In a substitutionary fashion, Christ took the place of Sam Smith, and He bore the punishment for Sam Smith's sins. He bore the punishment. The punishment for Sam Smith's sins has already been borne in the body of Jesus Christ. All right? So, Sam Smith dies rejecting Christ, hating the gospel and everything it stands for. And now he appears before God the Father. May I ask you, upon what basis can Sam Smith be condemned? Can he be condemned on the basis of his sins? No, because they've already been borne. Substitutionarily and in reality, not hypothetically, He entered the holy place once for all, having obtained eternal redemption. What is redemption? It's the forgiveness of sins. He's already borne His sins in His body in the tree. So upon what basis can Sam Smith be condemned? Oh, unbelief. Is unbelief a sin? Of course it's a sin. Did Christ die for all the sins of Sam Smith, including unbelief? If Christ did not die for unbelief, we're all in big trouble, aren't we? So on what basis can Sam Smith be condemned? Well, and even if you find a way, well, because it's just the way God designed it, because he didn't believe. Okay? So what you're saying then is that Sam Smith is sent to hell and he's punished for his sins again? It is your position that Christ suffers for his sins? Let's say Sam Smith committed adultery. So Christ suffers for the sin of adultery in the place of Sam Smith then, and Sam Smith is punished in eternity for the same sin of adultery. Is that what God does? Our judges don't even do that. Let's look at it another way. Let's say that you take the idea of foreknowledge and you say, well, God foreknew. God knew on the day that they nailed Jesus to the cross that Sam Smith would never believe. God knew that despite all his best efforts, despite all the Christians he sends across Sam Smith's path, he even makes Sam Smith's radio break on a Christian radio station. He can't tune to anything else. And he has to drive around for years in a Plymouth Rambler listening to a Christian radio station. And he's still not saved. God did everything to save Sam Smith. But still, on the day that Christ died 2,000 years ago, God, because he has perfect foreknowledge of all things, knew that Sam Smith would never believe. And yet, it must be the position of the Arminian or of the modified Arminian, or of the moderate Calvinist, as Dr. Geisler describes himself, that knowing that perfectly, because Dr. Geisler says God has perfect foreknowledge. God knows perfectly that Sam Smith will never believe, and yet despite that, God the Father laid the sins of Sam Smith upon His Son for no reason. To no avail. Christ suffers for them even though the Father knows that work will have never accomplished anything. And that Sam Smith will go into a Christless eternity in rebellion against God and suffer for his sins. Same sins suffered for twice. Is that God's purpose? Knowingly to lay upon His Son the sins of individuals that He knows will never believe? Is that what this is saying? He enters the holy place one time, having obtained eternal redemption. Those for whom He dies will be redeemed without fail and without possibility of failure, because of the perfection of His work in their behalf.